Ever eaten a whole pint of ice cream after a terrible day or a breakup? Or have you ever eaten 2 whole burritos from Alberto's? Yeah, that's me. Anyway, that's not weakness. That's your brain searching for dopamine and serotonin hits to feel safe again. What's up, you beautiful beasts? In today's video, we're blowing up one of the biggest lies in the wellness world, that obesity is just about laziness or lack of willpower. Nope. That's diet culture trash wrapped in a shame bow, and we're not doing that here. The truth. Obesity is a complex condition influenced by your brain chemistry, hormones, genetics, gut bugs, trauma, and even the environment that you live in. We're talking about the real science that diet culture conveniently ignores. It's not just what's on your plate. I'm breaking down why calories in, calories out is both technically true and wildly oversimplified. What set point weight theory actually means, and how things like yo-yo dieting and weight stigma can actually make the body more resistant to change. So if you've ever been told to just try harder, grab your favorite beverage and get cozy, because today we're replacing blame with science and shame with understanding.
Disclaimer. Educate the Beast is a space for reflection, not prescription. I'm here to offer insight, spark curiosity, and explore the messy, beautiful layers of health, movement, food, and mindset. I'm not your doctor, and I would never pretend to know your body better than you do. I am an ASM certified personal trainer, certified nutritionist, and master neurotransformational results coach. So I do bring my training to the table, and I also believe curiosity is a superpower. That means I stay open, ask questions, and keep learning too. If something here resonates, take it with you. Do your research, ask questions, start conversations. Your care should reflect your story, your body, your values, and your becoming. You deserve support that's informed, compassionate, and made just for you.
Factor 1. Why calories in, calories out is a yes and conversation. Okay, let's clear something up before someone in the comments says, "But lady, isn't it all calories in, calories out?" I don't know why I'm talking in this voice. Technically, yes, energy balance does matter, but here's the plot twist. Your body's not a calculator. It's a living, breathing, hormone-pumping, emotion-feeling organism that responds to hundreds of internal and external signals. Calories in and calories out aren't static numbers. They're influenced by your metabolism, your activity level, your stress, your sleep, your hormones, and even your gut microbiome. Two people can eat and move the exact same way and see completely different outcomes. Why? Because bodies are not copy-paste machines. Imagine telling someone with a broken leg to just walk it off. It's dismissive and ignores all the factors that are actually at play. It's the same with weight. Yes, energy balance is part of the equation, but it's the final product of dozens of factors, most of which are not under your conscious control. So if your body isn't responding to the eat less, move more plan, it's not a personal failure. It's your biology doing exactly what it's supposed to do, protecting you. Factor 2. The brain is driving this bus. Neurobiological drivers. Your brain is like the CEO of your hunger and fullness signals, and when it comes to obesity, it can be a little extra as f***. Studies using functional MRI scans show that people with obesity often have a stronger dopamine response to food cues. Translation: their brain lights up like Vegas when they see a plate of fries, not because they're weak, but because their reward system is hypersensitive. This is partly genetic, partly shaped by life experiences, and completely not about willpower. Then we have the hypothalamus, the command center for appetite and energy balance. Damage or dysfunction here, which can happen due to inflammation, trauma, or even infections, throws off the signals that tell you when you're full. So when people say, "Just stop eating when you're satisfied," but your brain is sending all the wrong signals, that's like trying to stop a freight train with a sticky note. Your brain is not trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. Back in the caveman days, being highly sensitive to food cues was a survival superpower. Now, in a world with donuts on every corner, that same wiring can feel like a curse. But again, it's not a character flaw, it's literally brain chemistry. Factor 3. Hormones be hormoning. Endocrine and hormonal disorders. Let's talk about hormones, those little chemical messengers that control basically everything your body does. If your hormones are out of balance, it's kind of like trying to play a video game with a broken controller. Insulin, for example, is crucial for regulating blood sugar. But when you have insulin resistance, which is common in obesity, your body stores more energy as fat, and your hunger hormones go haywire. Then there's leptin, the hormone that's supposed to tell your brain, "Hey, we're good, stop eating." In obesity, leptin signaling often gets scrambled, which is a phenomenon called phenomenon, I could say hard words, which is a phenomenon called leptin resistance. Your brain thinks you're starving even when you're not. Cortisol, which is a fun word that gets thrown around by fitness influencers. Cortisol is our stress hormone, and it's another big player. Chronically high cortisol levels can increase fat storage, especially around the belly. And then we have thyroid hormones. If your thyroid is sluggish, your metabolism slows down, and no amount of kale or jogging on the treadmill will fix it. Oh, and conditions like PCOS or Cushing's syndrome, these can cause weight gain regardless of your lifestyle. This is why saying, just try harder, is not just insulting, it's biologically inaccurate. Factor 4, metabolism isn't a static thing. Metabolism factors. Now let's talk about metabolism, because that word gets tossed around like we all agreed on what it means. So here's the deal. Metabolism is the sum of all the chemical processes your body uses to turn food into energy and then keep you alive. That includes digesting food, rebuilding tissues, and keeping your brain, heart, and organs humming even when you're doing absolutely nothing but binging Netflix. Your resting metabolic rate, or RMR, is the amount of energy your body burns just to survive at rest. It's like the energy you burn while you exist. And here's the kicker, it's not the same for everyone. Muscle mass, hormone levels, age, and even the type of fat you carry can influence it. Some people naturally burn more calories at rest, others are more efficient at storing energy. It's not about doing something wrong, it's just how bodies vary. There's also differences in fat oxidation, how efficiently your body burns fat for energy. Some people's bodies prefer to burn fat like a well-oiled machine, while others are better at conserving it, often due to genetics or long-term changes from diet history. So if you've ever compared yourself to that one friend who eats fast food like it's cardio and never gains weight, don't. They're playing an entirely different metabolic game. Factor 5. Brains, trauma, and emotional eating. Psychological and cognitive factors. Okay, so here's where we need to zoom out and look at the emotional side of the story. Because you can't talk about obesity without talking about mental health. Depression, anxiety, trauma. These don't just live in your head. They affect your entire body. Stress and trauma change how your nervous system operates, increasing cravings for high-energy foods as a way to self-soothe. Ever eaten a whole pint of ice cream after a terrible day or a breakup? Or have you ever eaten 2 whole burritos from Alberto's? Yeah, that's me. Anyway, that's not weakness. That's your brain searching for dopamine and serotonin hits to feel safe again. Emotional eating is often a survival mechanism, not a bad habit. And then there's body image distress and social stigma. People in larger bodies are constantly bombarded with judgment and shame, which actually increases stress hormones like cortisol, leading to, you guessed it, more weight retention. It's a vicious cycle, but not one that can be solved by just trying harder. If anything, the shame around weight makes healing harder. Imagine trying to run a marathon while people throw rocks at you from the sidelines. That's kind of what weight stigma feels like. And we've only scratched the surface. So far, we've seen how your brain, your hormones, your metabolism, and your mental health all weave together to influence weight. Next, we're diving into the next level stuff. Your DNA, your gut bacteria, your environment, and even how your parents stressed before you were born might be shaping your body today. Trust me, part 2 is gonna blow your mind. Factor 6, the blueprint of your body, genetics and epigenetics. So here's the thing. You don't pick your genes the way you pick your breakfast cereal. Genetics plays a massive role in body weight, accounting for somewhere between 40 and 70% of differences between people. So when we look at someone's body and assume it's all choices, we're ignoring biology's huge hand in the game. Some people are born with a genetic predisposition to store fat more efficiently, an evolutionary survival advantage that's great if you're living in a famine, but not so fun when you're surrounded by vending machines and fast food drive-thrus. Then there's epigenetics, basically the way your environment, stress, and even your parents' experiences turn certain genes on or off. For example, studies show that parental stress, poor nutrition, or even exposure to certain toxins can alter gene expression in offspring, making them more likely to struggle with weight regulation. Translation, that means your body's weight blueprint might have been drawn before you were even born. So when someone says, just work harder at losing weight, it's kind of like telling someone with naturally brown eyes to try harder to make them blue. Biology is not optional. Factor 7, the yo-yo diet trap. Weight cycling and set point weight. Now let's talk about the thing diet culture doesn't want you to know. Yo-yo dieting and weight cycling. You know that pattern where you lose weight, regain it, then lose it again, and then regain it, and then lose it again, and then regain even more, and then you lose it again? Yeah, that's not just frustrating, it's biologically harmful. Every single time you go on a restrictive diet, your body thinks, oh shit, famine, and then slams on the metabolic brakes. Your resting metabolism slows down, muscle mass decreases, and your body becomes better at storing fat for the next famine. It's like teaching your body to be a professional energy hoarder. Even worse, weight cycling can increase your set point weight, which is the range your body naturally wants to maintain. It's like your body says, if we keep starving, I'm just gonna go set the thermostat higher to keep us safe. Over time, this can make it harder to lose weight and easier to regain it no matter how much effort you put in. And if you're wondering what set point weight really is and how it works, don't worry, I got a whole video coming soon that dives deep into that exact topic. So hit that subscribe button or check back later if you want the full breakdown. Back to weight cycling. Let's not forget the mental toll of weight cycling. Weight cycling is linked to increased anxiety, feelings of failure, and disordered eating behaviors. The diet industry knows this, by the way. If diets worked long term, they'd go out of business. You're not failing the diet is failing you. Factor 8. Your gut bugs have opinions. Microbiome and inflammation. Microbiome and inflammation. So guess what? You are not just a human. You're part bacteria, part human, and all complicated. Your gut microbiome, which is the collection of trillions of bacteria in your digestive tract, plays a huge role in weight regulation. Some types of gut bacteria are better at extracting calories from food, meaning two people could eat the same exact slice of pizza. Pizza! But one person's gut bugs might pull more energy from it than the others. That's not a personality flaw, that's microbiology. When the gut microbiome gets out of balance, a condition called dysbiosis, because I love big words, it can trigger chronic low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Inflammation, which is another big word thrown around by the wellness people on the Instagram, inflammation in turn is linked to insulin resistance and increased fat storage. So basically, when your gut is angry, your whole system gets thrown out of whack. And guess what disrupts your gut microbiome? Dieting. Restrictive diets, especially ones that are low in fiber, can reduce gut diversity and mess with your metabolism even more. Another reason why the yo-yo dieting cycle is a hot mess. Factor 9. It's not just you, it's the world. Sociocultural and environmental factors. Let's zoom out and talk about the world we live in, because honestly, the deck is stacked against us. Our modern environment is basically a masterclass in how to create weight struggles. We have food deserts, which are places where the only thing resembling a grocery store is a 7-Eleven, and neighborhoods where ultra-processed foods are cheaper and easier to find than fresh produce. Hear me when I say, it's not that people don't want to eat better. It's that big food and big diet are two sides of the same rigged coin. One fills low-income communities with ultra-processed, highly palatable foods that are designed to keep you coming back, and the other profits off the guilt that follows. You're navigating a system built to override your biology and then sold the blame when it works exactly as designed. That is not a lack of willpower. That is a business model. And then there's access to healthcare, which is huge. People in larger bodies are regularly misdiagnosed or flat out dismissed by medical professionals. Now, I have heard absolute horror stories of people being told their symptoms were just because of their weight, and then later find out they had cancer or autoimmune disorders or other serious conditions that went untreated for too long. And in some cases, that delay in care wasn't just harmful, it was fatal. And this isn't rare. This is happening all the time, and research backs it up. Weight bias in healthcare leads people to avoid checkups altogether because they're tired of being told to just lose weight instead of being listened to like actual human beings. On top of that, communities with less access to care, usually due to cost, lack of insurance, or even systemic inequalities, are far less likely to receive early or preventative treatment for things like hormone imbalances, or metabolic conditions, or mental health support. It's not just a lack of resources, it's a lack of respect, and it's costing lives. And culturally, food is tied to family and love and traditions. You can't just ask someone to ditch all of that without understanding the emotional and cultural context. So no, It's not about being too lazy to eat healthy or work out. It's about living in a society that makes the healthy choice the hard choice, and then blaming people for not magically beating the system. Factor 10, hormones, puberty, and all the life stage shenanigans. Okay, lastly, let's talk about the hormonal roller coaster that is being a human, because our bodies aren't static machines. They evolve, shift, and pull new tricks at every stage of life. And hormones? Oh, they're the drama queens pulling the strings behind the scenes. For women, hormonal shifts during puberty, pregnancy, and menopause can totally change how the body stores fat and burns energy. Menopause in particular brings a drop in estrogen, which is linked to increased fat storage around the belly. And no, it's not because you let yourself go, it's because your hormones are rearranging the furniture without your f***ing permission. And men, don't relax too hard. You're not immune to the chaos. Testosterone declines with age, which can mean less muscle mass, slower metabolism, and a few more buttons popping on those genes if you're not adapting to the changes. So yeah, when people say, it was easier to lose weight when I was younger, they're not imagining it. Hormones evolve with us, and sometimes they flipped the script entirely. So if you've made it this far, here's the truth bomb. Obesity is not about laziness. It's about a deeply layered mix of biology, psychology, and environment. It's your brain chemistry, your hormones, your gut bugs, your genetics, your mental health. And yes, sometimes the battle scars left behind by years of dieting, restriction, and shame. When we reduce all that complexity to just eat less and move more, we're not helping, we're harming. We're blaming people for something that was never meant to be fixed through willpower alone. So the next time someone tries to tell you that weight is just about discipline, you can smile, take a breath, and hit them with some science, because your body, it's not broken. It's f***ing brilliant. And it's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Protect you. But this isn't just about reclaiming your relationship with your own body. It's about how we treat each other too. Let's be more kind. You never know what someone else is carrying, what systems they've been crushed by, or what battles they've fought just to exist in their own skin. The world throws enough at us already. Let's stop throwing shame on top of it. Compassion isn't soft, it's revolutionary, and it's one of the strongest tools we have to help each other unveil the beautiful beast within. So tell me in the comments, what part of this hit home for you? What lie are you ready to let go of? And if this spoke to you, please share it. Someone you love might still be carrying blame for a body that's been doing its best to survive. Hit like and subscribe if you want more science, more truth, and more real talk. The rebellion is just getting started, and your inner beast, it's waking up. A lot.